tremendous break by Venables now. Oh, what a good... Is it a goal? It is a goal by Venables, who ran like a hare.
People now tend to forget just what a terrific player Terry Venables was.
Venables, one of the two former Chelsea players in the Tottenham side. The other is Greaves. And now, Venables away.
Evisca el Barça.
Venables' team will always play class football, outstanding football, the way the game should be.
He's been through it, there's no question about that. But I think Terry's a winner.
Oranges are attacking. Blues, will you mark, Ted? Can you mark for me? Get one each, and I'll just show you what I want. If you snooze, you lose. Shot. That's it. Okay, let's go.
A closed session with the England squad at Bisham Abbey. Terry Venables in charge.
Well done. Good. Well, finish. Yes!
You watch and listen, and the things he has to say, and you come on leaping and bound. I mean, I went with him when I was 21. I wish I'd had a great time at Newcastle. I had no respect to Newcastle. It was brilliant. And I learned me trade a little bit there as well. But if I'd have been with him since I was 16, and I think I would have been even better.
As England coach, Venables applies everything his career's taught him about what makes footballers perform. His own playing days began in Dagenham.
Okay, movement, get it, quality. Well done, Blues.
It seems a long way from Dagenham to Bisham Abbey. It's not actually such a long distance, but it's a lot of years.
Well done, Teddy.
And I look back and I would suspect most people the same. You just wonder where those years went.
Venables was born in Dagenham in 1943. An only child, his sense of family is strong. More than anyone, his mother encouraged him to be a winner. It wasn't long before Terry the toddler was on his way to becoming a footballer.
I don't think I could have had a much better upbringing. We were never plentiful for the good things in life, but we never lacked for anything. And all we wanted was a playing field and streets with no cars to play football. And that's how we enjoyed our life. We're just coming out of Henshaw Road into Marjorie Road, and that's to the right is the part where we all played football. And many top footballers come out of this area. Down Marjorie Road, going in now into Bonham Road, turning to the right towards Balance School, where I used to swat as a pupil. Well, played a lot of football, but I don't know if we used to swat too much. But they tried with us, but didn't get very far. That's it there.
The teacher used to say he was the leader of the class, and what's it? Oh, yeah, he's a very forceful boy. Very strong, very forceful. Oh yeah, very good. You're a good lad. Behaved yourself. Go to bed proper times. Never smoked, drunk, anything like that. But oh yeah, he was really articulate in everything he done. If he wanted to paint a fence, he'd have to paint it better than anybody else. If he wanted to play football, he'd have to play better than anybody else.
It's nicely painted. I think they've come into some money. Looks quite posh. There's do a lot of the houses down here, they're all built on. But as you can see, I would think, well, you will be in a minute, to the amount of cars that's in this street. It's really incredible. There's hardly any space between them. And when we played many years ago, of course, there wasn't a car in the street. There wasn't any danger, so the children could play right through the day and even into the night until it got dark. This is the house where I was brought up in. Terrific memories. Is that green door there, 176?
We was always around 176 Bonham Road. We had an excellent Dagenham schoolboy side. Obviously the teachers were very good.
It's so much different now. You know, they encourage non-competitiveness now. You know, goodness knows why. But in our day, we were unbelievably competitive. Everyone wanted to do well, and football was our game. And Terry at that time was an unbelievable talent.
You could always tell that he had so much ability and was sort of grown up for his age. I mean, we used to go over the park at sort of 10, 11, and he used to do the coaching, and you could tell, apart from his ability, you could tell in his attitude that he was obviously going to go places.
Venables has never forgotten his roots. Today, he and his childhood teammates are visiting the Dagenham Boys Club they used to play for. Now, Terry is the celebrity.
Hello.
Terry, I'm the manager of this club.
How are you?
Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you too. Of course, of course. Had two ex-Dagenham boys here, is Ronnie and
Hello there, yeah.
his brother Essex, my dad Fred, and my other friend Peter all played at the same time. Hello, and how are you? What's your name? I've just trod on the cameraman's toe there, we won't make out we didn't know. What name? John Terry, you captain? Who's captain? Captain, how are you?
He's a Barking boy as well.
You midfield player? Yeah. How do I know that? How are you? Perfect. Top gloves, huh? Looking forward to the game?
Yeah.
How are you?
I'm right, yeah.
And what's your name?
Stephen.
And where you play?
I only went to like the first...
Among the players, one who's got a place at the FA's School for Talent at Lillishall.
Have you been there at all? Have you seen it?
Yeah. Yeah, it's
terrific, isn't it? Well, you're a very lucky boy. You want to grab it with both hands. Great opportunity for you. What are you doing with a Germany shirt on? You'll be ashamed of yourself, look. Oh, you're a Klinsmann man, are you? Yeah. Oh, that's what it is. Or is it by choice? Is it your choice as well? He's out. Football itself is just your environment, your upbringing, it's your history, it is everything that you want, and perhaps one of the few things that you can play cheaply. You had a ball, everyone played. You didn't need a set of golf clubs or whatever necessary to do other things. It was the people's game, it is the drug of the masses. When I see drug abuse and things like that, it concerns me that if we don't give people idols, that's the way youngsters will go. If they haven't got idols, they haven't got no aim, no target.
The young Venables was single-minded. His target was to play for England. By the age of 15, he was a schoolboy international, to the joy of his dad, Fred.
His mother said he'd leave school at 15 if he played for England schoolboys. And he did. We bought him a bike for Christmas, or for birthday, whatever it was. They were both together, his birthday and Christmas. And he used to ride it. He's got loved pie mash on liquor, and he used to go to the shop on it. And like all kids, over the park, play football, throw the bike down. But one day, one of the Chelsea scouts come to see him, and he said to him, "It's going to tighten your hamstrings, Terry. Shorten your hamstrings, that." Never rode it again.
Where were you at school?
Lymington, in Dagenham, Lymington Secondary School.
When did you leave school?
Last summer.
And how old are you now?
16.
So football is your whole life?
Yes.
And you wanted to go on being your whole life?
Yes.
Venables captained the highly talented Chelsea youth team that included other famous names of the future, such as Peter Bonetti and Eddie McCready. Several played alongside him for England youth. The turning point for Venables and Chelsea came when Tommy Docherty became coach in February 1962.
I brought all the youngsters in. I brought about 80 of them in. And I brought Terry in as captain as well, because he was a very good organiser, outstanding organiser for a young player. Very inquisitive, always wanted to ask him a lot of questions, always wanted to learn, and good listener.
One point, and last week was the second goal we lost, Peter. I can blame 3 or 4 people if I look at it that way. You people up front, Bert and Tommy, you must be prepared to take these 2 people on. If you are and you're having success, get it over, hard and low, because this fella, who is England goalkeeper at the moment, he's tall. I think if he's got a weakness at all, it's definitely down low.
Wearing the number 10 shirt, Venables regularly led out Doherty's young Chelsea side in the early 60s.
All I did was give them a chance. They were there when I arrived. I didn't bring them out. I take no credit for that. The credit I do take for is give them a chance to play in the first team. And yeah, I would agree with you. They were a great bunch. They were like 11 brothers, actually. They were good lads. Probably the best team I ever had, including Manchester United.
We are a young side, people keep telling us this, but there comes a stage when we must leave this young name behind us and keep playing more consistent, attractive football and get better crowds to our games, which gives the players themselves a terrific incentive to play good football.
We were like a family. We were brought up through the ranks from 15, and that was like family, and it was more than football or a profession. It was just, you would have done it for no money at all. You loved it.
It was like my eyes and ears on the pitch, and he was a very good organiser, and he was a very good organiser off the pitch. He was always sort of full of bright ideas, you know, take the team away for a few days and stuff like that. But I was only about 32 myself. I'd just finished playing, of course, at Arsenal. I was very impressed with him.
When he had the ball, you could sense the confidence that he had on it. And it was always, well, come on then, come and get it up, come on then, and draw people in and say, well, come on. And then he'd just be looking to get that little ball off.
Terry Venables' pass to left half Ron Harris was the start of a Chelsea attack that Osgood made good by feeding Tambling a goal-scoring chance.
Not the quickest, I don't think he'll like that, but he wasn't the quickest, but he was very quick thinking, which makes up for a lot of things.
We had a mixture of skill and pace. Bobby Tambling and Barry Bridges up front, and there was myself and Johnny Hollins, who was even younger, the Harris brothers, McCready, Shelito, Bonetti. All this potential coming through, very exciting at Stamford Bridge, and we really exploded into an exciting team.
Terry always used to be, he said, you dive in, and then the ball would come to me and I could then perhaps pass it on quickly. So I'm doing all the flying in there and flying in where all the boots are. And he said, and these balls just kept coming out the turn. I said, well, he's doing great, Terry, there, you know, why is that? And he just used to go, well done, John, keep it going.
The young Chelsea captain was soon picked by Alf Ramsey for the England squad.
I remember going to the training camp, and I remember being involved with Sir Alf. He was very quiet, very clear about what he wanted to do. We were from the same area, different types of people, both wanting the same things. And I've spoke to him recently. I had a good lunch and session with him. I find him very interesting.
When Bobby Moore led out England against Belgium in 1965, Terry won his first full cap, becoming the only player ever to represent England at every level. He made a promising start.
The free kick spells danger to Belgium. Venables to Greaves. Jimmy tries hard, but it's just wide. England see a chance now. Inside left, Terry Venables to Hinton. His cross is deflected by Verbeest. Goal.
We drew and I made the goal. And then I got chosen again to play in Holland again. Made the equalising goal. I got chosen a third time and I was injured. And Johnny Byrne come in my place. And then I never got the place back again. So I was in the World Cup 40 that eventually won the World Cup. I was in the 40, but I never made the 22. So I just was outside it. But I was there, cheering.
I think he was a very outstanding player. And I think he was one of the few players as well that he didn't really get the recognition at international level that he deserved.
Why was that?
I don't know. Different managers have different ideas.
Discarded by England, Venables remained the fulcrum of Doherty's Chelsea team, the boss on the pitch, whatever he said about it at the time.
Are you expected to shout at the players on the field?
Well, everybody expects to shout at each other, you know, it's not necessarily just the captain. We've got to have 11 captains on the field, I think, to have a good side.
But there was tension between the young coach and the young captain. Each was too big for the other, and one would have to go.
He wanted to be number one. I felt he was becoming, as a captain, too strong. And you could, as a manager, you could allow that to happen because it became either him or you. And if it became him, you no point in you being the manager because he would be running the whole show.
We had the same sense of humour, and we often clashed. But and often I would say, I'm never going to speak to him again. I won't ever laugh at his jokes. And in 2 minutes, you would be killing yourself laughing. You just couldn't help it. But with all that, it was a hot atmosphere, and it was a difficult situation to get on.
We'd grown up. We were, 16, 17-year-old guys coming in. The Terrys, the Ron Harrises. Tommy Dockett had given them the chance, but he always wanted to be in control and be everywhere where we were. And sometimes you have to, I think, being an ex-manager, you have to distance yourself from players. And I don't think Tommy wanted to do that. And he felt as though he started to lose control. And one of the main reasons, perhaps because Terry was a big influence on us as a team, as well as a couple of other individuals, I think he looked at that, well, if we can move him on, then I'll get the control back.
Venables left Chelsea in 1966, signing for Spurs for £80,000. Still only 23, he'd been at Stamford Bridge 8 years when Doherty transferred him.
I hope I've taught him through my impatience for him to be more patient. He's probably learned that quality from me, that he'd maybe look at the player's side of the coin first of all before he made a decision, rather than just think that he's right, or in my case, I was right.
Today, as England coach, Venables applies the lessons in man management he learned as a player, even if he learned them the hard way. The key, mutual respect.
What you're trying to achieve is a natural atmosphere, a family atmosphere, without saying that's what you're trying to do. You're just trying to have a normal, as people would in their own clubs, in their own houses. It's got to be fun and humour within the rules. How's it, Andy? How you feel? Calves are tight. See how you feel after he's finished the thing. You can get people throwing cups against the wall, shouting and screaming, and that makes an impact in the beginning. But where do you go from there? You just keep doing it, and it's just like the wife nagging him. You think, you don't notice this. That's what's going on again. And I think it's but someone that people respect. If you're one of those that respect, you're fortunate because you can just say, look, you've not done it today, and I'm not very happy with you. And if you do that again, it's going to be worse. It's quiet to the point. Now that can hurt them far more than all the screaming and shouting.
He's strict, but he gives you a chance, and if you overstep the line again, then you'll soon know about it. But he's not a disciplinarian or anything like that. But you know how far to go with him, and that is the nice thing about him. You just won't have that. You won't go over that line because you know the respect you've got for him.
As a bloke, he's top class. I mean, he's got the happy mix because he knows when to stand off and when to be the manager. But he's also in amongst the players and knows, he's got a very young mind in terms of that. He's still very young at heart, and he is one of the lads. And that's where you've got to be. I mean, we're lucky, and I'm lucky that I've got the same thing at Newcastle with Kevin Keegan. Terry's played the game at the highest level. He's experienced everything that you could experience. He's had highs and lows, and he appreciates the good things about it.
When you say he's one of the lads, what do you mean?
Well, he joins in. There are times when you meet up when there's no pressure and you can have a drink. And he's having a drink, and that's the way it should be. At the end of the day, we all want the same thing. We all want to win on Wednesdays, because it is once a month for Terry, and he has got to get to know the players. But he's not going to get to know the players sitting in his bedroom.
But I think he encourages every player to talk to him. When we have a meeting, he always leaves it open to anybody else if they want to say something, which is important. And that's where I go away, where I'm saying he wants to improve and learn himself as well. And when he's got an idea in his head, he might bounce it off me. Not so much for me to bring my points forward, but to hear himself saying it. And I know I can go to him at any point that I want to. He talks to me a great deal about the tactics of what we're employing at my club. And how we're playing, because I think he recognises that the game, since he came into it, has moved along tremendously.
If players shut their minds off and they think they're good enough, which is sometimes you come across that, well, the door's shut, you're not going to improve that player anymore. But if they're open and they respect you and they think they can be improved, if they open their minds up, I think you can improve players a tremendous amount, which in turn improves teams, and there's no bounds to it.
Dave Mackay, who played in the previous Tottenham Cup finals, as Terry Venables, the white.
In 1967, Venables played for Spurs in the Cup final. He was up against his old teammates from Chelsea, including John Hollins.
Hollins is coming today. What will undoubtedly be a long throw for Chelsea. Now, Venables is not allowed to jump up in front of a man taking a throw in like that. Because Venables' problem is that he knows that Hollins is trying to get this one onto the head of Tony Higley.
First tackle, Terry, vroom. I looked down and thought, hang on a minute. There's a hole in my pad there, what's going on? And he, different man. He's now the opposition. And then you learn lessons very quickly. You think, well, right, if that's the way you want it, that's the way it's going to be.
Foul by Boyle, right into the back of number 10, Venables. So we introduce now the Tottenham Hotspur trainer, Cecil Poynton. Number 2. Watching the operation is Joe Kinnear, born in Dublin, has played once for his country.
Terry was playing against his old club. You know, he'd come from Chelsea, and here we are a year later, taking him on again. And he was desperate to get a result. Being a cup final, that was extra special.
Venables all right again. Now watch Venables, he's likely to chip this one forward. Mike England's gone up into the penalty area, he's the man on the far right. Now Greaves going forward. Oh!
He played exceptionally well in that final as well. He dominated midfield, and we won it more comfortably than the results showed.
Now Mullery, notice how quickly Tottenham take their free kicks. Robertson, a goal! Right on half-time!
The end result, 2-1 to Spurs. But Venables won no further honours with Tottenham, and things started to go wrong.
The biggest problem that Terry had at the club was basically from the Spurs supporters. Unfortunately, when things didn't go well for us as a team, and the crowd started to get on the back of Terry. And I think that affected Terry. I mean, he was a young lad at the time, and confidence plays a big part in some players. And that was starting to bite away at Terry, and I don't think he ever played his proper game.
It's tough, it's not easy, it's not nice. It's like your own family turning against you when you need them. And we can all be good family members when things are going well. We can all support our team when they're winning. We need them more when we're losing. We need our family more when we're suffering a little bit. And as a younger person, I thought that was unfair, and I didn't understand it. But it's part of life, and you have to, if that's the way it is, you've got to deal with it.
Okay, come on the inside of me, and just when you've got a defender confused, come out of the turn very quick. Okay, just that's it. Get a bit closer. Good lad, and go. Tight turn.
As England coach, Venables tries to instill self-belief along with skill and intelligence.
Target, Peter. Right, come inside me. Come inside me. Tight turn, and get out of your feet. Good, and go.
What makes a player play excellent one week and poorly the next, or over a period of time? You might have a good run and then a poor run. This great player looks like he's never kicked a ball before. The team's playing badly. Why is it? We're doing the same things, they're the same players, and it's this intangible thing called confidence. And it's when you feel good, you can climb mountains, and when you feel bad, you can't lift your legs up to get up the first rung of the ladder.
See now, if it's under his feet, he's got to stutter. Knock the ball out of your feet so you can see it and stride at it. When you come out of turn, don't keep it under your feet. It'll catch you up. Knock it out, that's the one. So you accelerate away from him. Good lad, Walks.
I think if you're going to be at the top of your profession, and whatever it is you do, the mind is possibly the most important thing once you've got a talent for something. It's what's between the ears that is the most important, whether it is because of concentration, discipline, and I don't think, certainly in football, you can have a successful side without any discipline, and intelligence, which is the most important.
As a player, Terry's self-confidence came flooding back when he left Spurs for QPR.
Hockey very aggressive, but Hazel coming away with it, finding Venables in turn to Marsh, faced by Robinson. Marsh with a shot across the goal, and Kelly really had to get down to that one from Marsh.
A lot of people have said, myself included, that when he played those 4 or 5 seasons at QPR, that's the best he's ever played, and I wouldn't disagree with that at all. I thought he was a terrific player, Terry. And I think he'd be the first to admit that when he went to Spurs, he had a bad time. For whatever reasons, he didn't perform anywhere near as he did at Chelsea, or I thought he could. And Jim Gregory agreed, and he saw that, and we signed Terry Venables. And from the first day that he came here, I think he was the component that the team needed. And as I say, within a year, he'd taken over the captaincy from me, and QPR were a very, very exciting, great footballing team in those days, yeah.
QPR had a lot of young players themselves, a team that was coming through. And I felt, well, I may have to go down a division to find a little bit out about myself. And I went there, and I struck up a great relationship with the players immediately, and a good friendship with Rodney Marsh. We were very competitive. We were always trying to get one over on each other, which was good on and off the field.
He could use his pace. He didn't have much of it, but he could use it from time to time.
Here's Marsh, and a tremendous break by Venables now. Oh, and a good, is it a goal? It is a goal!
Terry Venables' biggest strengths were knowing his capabilities and the selection of what he did, both when he was in possession and when he didn't have possession. You know, not a lot of players make the right decisions most of the time, and Terry did.
Venables shielding the ball well. Ferguson to pump it across again, and McCullough goes in!
There was times when Terry and I would actually dictate what happened on the field without, you know, I hate to say this, without the manager knowing. Because we would arrange, you know, agree to do things, certain things, on corner kicks and free kicks, which were against what the manager was doing in practice. Now, I'm sure that Terry's going to be horrified to think that maybe today players do that to him, but that's what we did, and you know, we were 2 players. You can always sell this tape afterwards for a question of sport, can't you? Whose feet are these? We were both winners, always wanted to win, and I got angry when I didn't win, and Terry got very analytical. We all knew at that stage that he was going to go on to become a tremendous coach.
Will it come through to Marsh? Oh, look at that for skill by Marsh! Oh, and what a goal! Rodney Marsh's hat-trick!
Stan Bowles replaced Marsh in the QPR team that rose to Division 1. Venables orchestrated a side playing flowing football. In 1974, he was transferred to Crystal Palace, aged 30, but his playing days were numbered.
When he first came, you know, he was very keen and very bright, but he had some arthritis in his ankle, and he played about 8 games for me. And after the 8 games, I called him in the office one morning. I said to him, Terry, I said, I think you better finish. You know, I think that you're over the top as a player, and I would like you to come on the coaching staff.
I always feel when you're at the back end of your career, what you've got is you haven't got your legs, but you've got your experience. Now, when you're experienced, you're going to offer something or you're going to lack something. And I noticed McClintock come to QPR, we had a very good team, and he slotted in our side, and he was an asset because we got his experience, his organisation, and he improved the team. I went to Crystal Palace, and it was a team that was not ready. It hadn't grown. It was got a lot of weaknesses, and what it saw was my weakness. That, you know, I was running from here to there. I couldn't cover these big spaces, and they were playing a very long ball game, which I couldn't get involved in. And all you saw was my weaknesses.
As captain of West Ham, Allison first saw Terry play as a young teenager. He tried to sign him, but Chelsea got in first. Even then, many saw Venables as a future coach.
I remember Terry's mother saying to me, Malcolm, he's going to be a great coach. I think she had a big influence on Terry, and she was absolutely right. I sent Terry up to Leeds to watch Leeds. I said to him, look, we're going to play with the sweeper system. We're going to play 3 central defenders against Leeds. So he said, OK. So I said, when you're watching, I said, just take that in mind. So he went and looked at him, and he came back and he said to me, 3 or 4 different things about the team, so and so and so and so. He said, no, I think that'll work, the sweeper system.
1976, third round of the FA Cup. Palace faced the might of Leeds at Elland Road.
Peter Taylor's clipped. It had to happen sooner or later.
I used to tell players they could play. I mean, I told them that they were going to win the cup that year. You know, and you know, you've got to tell people. You've got to tell people good things.
Swindlehurst. What a rocket! David Harvey was so relieved to see that one go over the top.
The major thing is to inspire your players and give your players confidence. That's the major thing. And some people can do it and some people can't. And Terry can.
Taylor. There's a tall fellow again. Miraculous save by Harvey.
Leeds went out to the third division side. Playing with a sweeper, Palace won a 0-0, and it could have been several more.
Taylor. Good cross too. Oh, Harvey again.
We played very similar to the Germans, you know, with a sweeper, and pushed our 2 fullbacks in tight on Gray and Lorimer. And therefore we were in a position to break from the back as often as we liked and make a lot of room for ourselves in midfield. And this is what we did, and the system worked very well.
The remarkable thing is the confidence with which your side played against the cup favourites. They were confident right from the first go, weren't they?
Yes, Terry and I have been talking to them this week, you know, about the attitude towards the game. And this was the only thing I was worried about a little bit, that they might be just slightly overawed by the occasion. But I knew they had the ability to play, and it was a lovely playing surface, and they knocked the ball about probably better than any team that's ever played in the 3rd division.
As soon as I finished it, I never missed playing, because I was so interested in, I mean, most people do, but I was very interested in doing the next thing in my life, and that was to be a coach, and hopefully to be a manager, which came up fairly quickly.
The chance came when Malcolm Allison was sacked after inviting a leading sex symbol into the team bath. The players were amazed.
There I was, a young kid, cleaning out around the bath area, and the older pros obviously in there were Malcolm. And the door smashes open, and here she is, Fiona Richmond, off for the court and into the bath for the players. I thought it was terrific. I thought if this was all about, got to be in the game for a long while.
She did a photo session with us one morning, and after the session she came down and she said, do you mind if I get in the bath? I said, no, certainly get in the bath, you know. I'd never seen Terry move so quick. He was like lightning. I thought maybe I made a mistake. He was quicker than I thought. Anyway, that was the reason.
So he got out the bath?
He got out. As soon as he got in, he's gone like, you know, he's gone like lightning.
And then you got the sack?
Yeah, I got the sack, and I said to the chairman, give him the job. And the chairman had a lot of respect for me, and he gave him the job.
Now, inside. You're still in contact.
With Venables as manager, the young Palace side rose from the 3rd division to the 1st.
We're trying things. I keep encouraging them to try things, and this is the way they're only going to learn, by going out and trying. It's like set pieces. They didn't go very well today, but I was quite pleased with them. They trying them. You know, by evading situations, you learn nothing.
Whip into that ball when you go into it. Yeah, whip it.
After managing a team as young as Palace, today Venables knows no one's too young or too old if he's good enough.
You will find, in actual fact, older teams have won competitions over the last 4 years, World Cup, Championships, average age maybe 27, 28. But it's not, you don't design that. You look at your players and see what you've got. You don't say, well, I want like a few 30s and a couple of 26s, and we'll throw in a few 19-year-olds. It's about ability, and it's about what they can offer and what you can get together.
It's a bonus for me, because some managers would think I was finished at 34. So I think it's a big help to me to have the younger ones around, because sometimes they can be your legs, you know, because you sometimes can get away with having a good brain without having the legs, you know, and I think he believes that now. You know, he's got a good mix. He's got the likes of Nicky Barmby, Jamie Redknapp coming through on the scene, but he's got the likes of myself, Stuart Pearce, you know, who are over 30, and he still feels we've got something to offer, which is obviously a bonus for us.
He didn't play at the England level when he was 30. I thought, well, now 33, it might now be a time when he may not have so long left, but he kept playing and kept doing it well, and I think you've got to believe what your eyes show you. I don't think there's a formula, because some 36-year-olds are very fit and young, and other guys at 30 are over the top. You've just got to go what you see, and while he's playing like he is, I feel he should be involved.
I had a silly bet with Kevin Keegan when I came out in Newcastle. He said I would get called up, you know, and I mean, it's still a big surprise and a special thing. You know, I mean, Terry was big enough and brave enough in many ways to bring me back, you know, and hopefully I haven't let him down, but it was nice that he had that faith in me.
People had faith in Venables, the young manager. In 1980, he became the first manager ever to be transferred. Then in Division 2, QPR paid £100,000 to get him to Loftus Road. It was the start of a successful working relationship with Chairman Jim Gregory.
When Terry arrived at QPR, of course, he replaced me as manager, who I had been sacked while we were at the top of the league, I might add. And Mr. Gregory sacked me while I was at the top of the league. Terry took over a good young side, a very talented young side. He didn't make hardly any adjustments to the team at all. They were well organised, busy, not like the young Chelsea side we had together, actually. But within the space of 3, maybe 4 years, they played great football.
Within 2 years, Venables was leading his team out for the All-London FA Cup final. Second Division Rangers against First Division Spurs.
The FA Cup final was a thrill to me beyond, because we never, as a second division side, we never felt we were going to be in the cup final at that time. We felt we'd still have to improve, get into the first division, be a team of that quality before you could have got there. But we did it before our time.
After a goalless 90 minutes, Hoddle struck for Spurs in extra time.
It would have been too easy for us to think, well, that's it, it's gone, it's finished, it's not for us. But as per usual, teams that are run by Terry have got that inner character that to walk here, let's get up and go again.
Late in the game, Venables' training on set pieces paid off.
Bobby Hazel, after a little bit of movement, comes off and gets a good flick on, and I creep up on the blind side and bang, in you go. Just worked a treat. It probably didn't even work as well as that on the training ground, but it was lovely to come off. It's something that we'd work on in training, something that Terry had put into us.
Despite the odds, QPR had lived to fight another day. Early in the replay, a dribble by Graham Roberts led to a Spurs penalty. After Hoddle scored from the spot, the game opened out as QPR went for the equaliser.
I thought there was only one team on the park, and we were extremely unfortunate not to walk away with the cup.
Spurs won by the only goal, but QPR went on to success in the league.
We then went on to win the second division by street. We done particularly well, and that was really I think the highest moment of my career. Even though we'd done it at Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace we'd won the second division and gone into the first, but to do it for the second time, coming back to a club which I'd played for and had a special feeling for, the chairman was just thrilled, and to go into the first division with them was perhaps was at that moment the best time of my career.
On their way up, QPR beat Allison's Middlesbrough 6-1.
It was a good group of players. They could play. They could really play. And we had some good team movement. We got promotion to the first division. And in the first year, we qualified for Europe, which was quite special.
But in 1984, Terry left QPR to take up the biggest challenge of his life so far, manager of Barcelona.
We had 40,000 turned up just to watch the training for the first day. And then I realised this is pretty big stuff.
I ara a treballar tots plegats. Visca el Barça!
I realised how big it was. I mean, you've only got to know that their home gate is 120,000 people every week, and you must say there's a bit of interest in that city. But the ferocity was far more severe than I thought it was. I mean, it was just everything geared round the football club, the city around the football club. Even politics is linked in with the football club.
Barcelona hadn't won the league for 14 years, and the pressures were intense.
And I got that buzz and I got that thrill, and I thought, this is going to be great. I've got to be positive. I've got to think about winning this. I've got to not think about being here and having a nice experience. We've got to think about winning it. I've got a chance. I'm actually with a team that's capable of winning the league. I've got good players.
With Maradona gone, Venables had to pick a replacement. To the club's surprise, he brought an unknown Scot, Steve Archibald.
I knew Archibald well. I had to make my own signings because I knew that a lot of the foreign clubs like to make the signings they want. They wanted to sign Hugo Sanchez. I didn't know him very well. I saw him twice, thought he was a very good player. But Archibald, always when we played against him, always made me uneasy. I felt danger when he was around me, and I thought that was always a good sign. I liked a lot of things he did. He was an exceptional player, and I don't think really he got the credit that he deserved. I mean, he was good in the air, his brain was sharp, he could hold the ball when he had to, he knocked it off when he had to, and he was an intelligent football player.
Archibald and Barcelona flourished. With 4 games to go, Barcelona only needed to beat Valladolid away to clinch the league. Barcelona went 1 up. Valladolid equalised. When Barcelona went 2-1 up, the championship was theirs. The city of Barcelona went wild. 1 million people took to the streets to hail the team. The following season, Barcelona rejoiced as the team fought their way to the European Cup final against Steaua Bucharest. The match went to penalties.
I would suppose would be the turning point for Terry at Barcelona. He'd done so well that the expectancy levels got so high that it was difficult to maintain them. And then the next season, which was my first season there with Mark Hughes, although we had a decent season, we didn't actually win anything.
Venables' fourth season at Barcelona began badly. The team failed to win any of their first 4 games. For a club demanding success, this just wasn't good enough. Venables' career in Spain was soon to be over. His resignation quickly followed.
I didn't think it was going to benefit anybody to continue. I wasn't in agreement with what was said, so therefore I felt the best thing was to have a positive decision, and I didn't feel I could continue with this club, and I would feel they felt the same with me. If you lose 3 games on the trot, basically you're out. That's the barometer. 2, you might just stay safe, but any more than that, there's the exit. I was pleased going to Barcelona because I thought I did something special. I had the opportunity to do something special, and it made youngsters think, cool, if he can do that, I can do it. Because I've always felt growing up there's too much of the, it's not for the likes of these, son. You know, we actually minimise opportunities with youngsters because it's too big and grand for them, and really we should be opening up minds and giving more opportunities. And for me to go to Barcelona, it really says to people, look, there's a boy from Dagenham that's gone there, and he's not done bad at it. He's been there 3 years, which was, at the time, the longest a coach had ever spent in Barcelona.
1987, White Hart Lane. As Spurs' new manager, Venables shakes hands with chairman Irving Scholar. But this was an ageing team. Players like Ardiles were at the end of their career. Hoddle and Goff had already gone. Venables had to begin by rebuilding the squad.
There's no magic wand. We've got to work hard. You know, there's no sun either, so it's even harder.
Players came and went, but instead of improving, the results got worse.
It's ridiculous, really, to expect anything outstanding early on. But to be truthful also, we should be doing better than where we are now. But we have got a side together, a side that I think will be a big success for the Spurs fans for the next 10 years, not more.
No regrets about coming back?
Oh no, not at all, never.
There were further signings, including Gary Lineker from Barcelona. But it wasn't until early 1991 at Notts County that Spurs began to scent glory again. Another Venables signing put them through to the next round. Paul Gascoigne. Spurs were through, but Gazza's explosive temperament was a challenge to any manager.
Gazza's a very complex character in many ways. He's like a naughty schoolboy. He doesn't respond well to a kick up the backside. Terry quickly worked that out. He's much better with an arm around the shoulder. He's the sort of person that needs to be told how good he is, but also to be advised. But there was a way to advise him, and watching Terry handle that was quite an education.
I have my little baby moans with him and that. He just laughs at us. And what can I say? Once I've told him to F off twice, and I badly regret it. The first time I told him was when he substituted us, and I told him F off near the bench, and I mean, I was gutted afterwards, and I said sorry straight after the game, and he said don't let it happen again. And about 2 years later, it was a match we got beat, and he said something to us, and I went, oh, just F off. And I walked out, and he went, see me in the office. And I took him a beer up. Didn't know what to do, so I thought if I take him I says I'll take him a beer up, you know. And took my beer. I said, look, boss, I don't know what to say. I'm really sorry. I'm saying that to you, but there's a beer. And he said, well, just give us a bit more respect and don't do it again. I went, okay. And there's one out of the door. He says, next time I prefer wine to a beer.
With Gascoigne just back after an operation, Spurs faced Arsenal in the FA Cup semi-final. Off the pitch, there was boardroom infighting as Spurs faced financial ruin.
Well, the whole season was a drama. I mean, if it was a film, you would have disbelieved it because it was just incredible. We were in deep danger of going out of business. There was a lot of debt, and a lot of politics at the club were sort of intermingling, and it was areas of spilling over into the dressing room, of which was my job to keep that out. We exploded onto the field, and of course no one was better in that first 20 minutes or so than Gaza, who'd had an operation, an earlier operation, so I took a big gamble.
After early pressure inspired by Gaza, Spurs were awarded a free kick.
I remember going up to Paul Gascoigne because it was way out, and I said to him, listen, don't try and bend it, just whack it. Because he had this thing about, he always wanted to bend the ball and stuff. But he proved me wrong, because not only did he whack it, but he bent it as well, and it was just the most memorable goal. Probably one of the most memorable goals Wembley's seen.
I mean, to think he was only just over 4 weeks from that operation to playing at that level, and then hitting this humdinger of a free kick, a stunning free kick from 30 yards, with power, with bend, and beating possibly the goalkeeper, best goalkeeper in the country. So it was storybook stuff. It was really him, and then he ran over to the bench, and we all went berserk. We've gone one up. You know, you'd think we'd won the game. It's early in the game, and it's only one goal, but it was a start. It was excitement. It was drama. It was all the things that you would want from a football match. It was a spectacle.
Within the first 20 minutes, Gaza had helped set up Spurs' second.
The second goal was a lovely move. I think Paul Allen and Gaza were involved, and it went down the right. Eventually came to a bit of a scramble, and I got a toe poke. But that's all I ever got, really. But 2-0 up so early was, I mean, just such a wonderful start. I've never played in a game where the atmosphere just seems so electric, with the exception probably of Madrid-Barcelona games. It was just incredible. Sadly, they got a goal just before half-time.
In the second half, the decisive goal came from Lineker, and it was no toe poke.
It was one of those very rare goals, as far as I was concerned, when I actually ran past someone with the ball. I was so buggered at that stage of the game. I just hit it with everything I had. I was just relieved that it went in the net, which gave me the chance to lie down and catch my breath for a few minutes.
3-1 to Spurs. The team Venables built had won the day. He'd brought a winning combination and inspired them to win.
For me, the man just is. I know a lot of people say, "Oh, how's your dad?" You know, but he is. He's like me. He's like my second father, as far as I'm concerned. On everything, I just don't. I don't think I could give him enough. If I scored a hat trick, I don't think I'd give him enough. I think I could have scored 4 for him, and that's the way I feel about the man.
Venables was up against the old master, Brian Clough, as Spurs faced Forest in the final. The result was to turn on how each man handled his team. If Spurs had a crisis off the pitch, they soon had a crisis on it when Gaza went down injured.
He did start off angry. He started off more than competitive. It meant so much for him to get to an FA Cup winner's medal. I mean, he really wanted it badly. And it was his biggest moment. And very shortly into the game, that dream sort of just went away from him.
Gaza's foul handed Forest a free kick at goal. Soon after Forest went 1-up, Gaza was out of the game and Venables had to reorganise.
12 minutes he was off and we had a big game to play. Naeem came on, Vinnie Samways took Gaza's position. Naeem took Samways' position. The balance was very good and we went on and played exceptionally well.
Gaza got himself injured, we were 1 down. It just appeared to be all going wrong, although we were playing really well. And I think that's what Terry picked up on at half-time. He recognised the fact that we were playing how he wanted us to play, even though we were without a most influential player. He encouraged us just to continue along the same vein. He picked up 1 or 2 small things, but by and large he tried to encourage us, tried to make us believe that we would win the game.
Playing the game of his life, another Venables signing scored the equaliser. Paul Stewart's goal made it 1-1 after 90 minutes, and once again, Venables faced extra time as a cup final manager.
Clough didn't come out, Venables did. That had galvanising effect, and I wonder to this day whether Clough regrets not going out to speak to his team. You need your manager at that stage, and Terry recognised that. It was just the encouragement to make you believe that you're going to win the game.
4 minutes into extra time, Spurs' pressure paid off. An own goal by Des Walker. There was no further score. Spurs took the cup 2-1.
Medal, we took the cup and we all got in the coach, went straight to the hospital to see Gaza, who was just about getting over it, and seeing us come in, he was very tearful and emotional. And the one thing he wanted was to go up those steps and collect the medal. He couldn't do. We had to deliver it to him instead.
Well done.
He's in good shape. Is he staying in? Is he going to stay in?
He's staying in, yes.
Is he going to be all right soon?
Yeah, he's going to be okay. It's a lot better than I think we first thought.
What was this? Did he enjoy getting and seeing the cup?
Yes, he did. He gave it a big hug and he's relaxed now as well.
The game helped save the club. When Spurs paraded the cup in Tottenham, Terry's best mate was with him on the bus. Shortly afterwards, the club's boardroom troubles seemed over. Venables became chief executive.
My first task, as far as I'm concerned, is to get the balance sheet into shape and can safely rely upon Terry to look after the football side.
Gaza was sold to Lazio. A winning team was disbanded before fulfilling its potential.
He got the team together at Spurs, and he was just making the team great. And I know that he loved his young players. He thought they were going to be really top class, and they are. I mean, several of them have done exceptionally well. But then he needed the money to buy 1 or 2 players, and when he teamed up with Sugar, he must have thought, this is it, I'm going to do it, I'm going to crack it. And then it fell apart, you know.
Within 2 years, it all turned sour. Sugar wanted Venables out. Fans protested.
We hate Sugar! We hate Sugar!
Mr. Venables is no longer employed by Tottenham Hotspurs PLC. We don't want him there. The board of directors don't want him there. And if I have anything to do with it, he is not coming back there at all.
After mutual recriminations and a bitter court battle, Venables was out.
The cleverest man in the world can't do anything about the past. We can do something about the future, is my sort of motto to players if it's at half-time. You can't do nothing about the first half. We can do something about the second half. And if that's what I preach, that's what I've got to follow, and I've got to take the same principles for the future. And it's gone, cut it away, and on to the next.
Next came the biggest challenge of the lot, England coach, with an office at the FA in Lancaster Gate. Venables was only appointed after an FA survey of fellow professionals confirmed that he was the best man for the job.
That was the biggest kick for me of the lot, was the fact that people within the game thought that I should have the job.
When Venables began at the FA, there were no records from the past left by previous managers, no files on English players or on the opposition. Venables is working for the future, off the pitch and on it.
That's the one, boys, that's the one. Yep. On there, that's it, on the 18-yard line. I want you to move wherever you want to. Attack the box. Yeah, oh, yes. Tight, touch. In that box. Good boy. Macca, great ball. Oh, well played. Oh, that's top class.
I learn all the time. I listen to these things. I listen to this. Obviously, when I was at Tottenham at 21, I was joking on with the lads, and I took no notice, and I thought I knew it all. And now, when I look back, I didn't. And I listen to everything you say, and obviously, I chip in me little things. I think, no, I tell you, I think you should have done it like that, just privately, so no one thinks I'm trying to be different from anyone else. And then, obviously, he gets his own way and disagrees. But he's good. He's always got to have the last say. Always got to, and he's always win. Doesn't matter if the argument's stronger, he'll have the last say, and he'll end up winning. So it's not worth arguing.
His sessions are tremendous because he works at something for 20 minutes, then stops and tries to put it in players. We work together as England. It's very, very difficult for him because it's not at club level where you're working every day. We get together every 4 weeks or so from a situation where we've all been working under different coaches, and he's only got 6 days to prepare not only for that game but prepare for the future as well. And he does that very, very well by keeping a certain pattern of play. He's very, very patient, tries to get his ideas through. If he realises that we haven't perhaps understood the ideas fully, then he'll stop and he'll go through it on a much slower basis, and that's the important thing.
Can you listen 1 second? Because if I can get this, I'll be quite happy. In fact, thrilled. He's got the ball, hasn't come, he's gone straight. I want to try and get the runs in behind these cones as defenders, so I'm actually going to face the goal, if you can. If you can't, do what comes natural. Midfield players, get in the box with the one that's in the centre. Stan and Alan, away you go. Anything you want, Stan. You can't be wrong, don't worry. If it comes, that's it, okay, that's good. Now punch it in. Good lad, well done, Nicky.
Unfortunately, what we couldn't do under Graham Taylor was experiment like we're doing under Terry Venables, because like I just said, we're playing a game at international level that in some ways is alien to what the players are playing in the Premiership week in, week out. Unfortunately, under Graham Taylor, every time we went out, we had to go out and try and get 2 points. And sometimes the risk of experimenting was too great, and you thought, well, can we do that? Because we're trying something that is not completely different, but is different. And if it doesn't work, we might lose the 2 points.
Darren Anderton's first goal for England. Anderton's one of many young players Venables has helped to stardom. As England coach, Venables favours long-term planning.
Good boy, beautiful! We're looking now a lot further ahead than perhaps we have done before. I think there's a responsibility to make sure that there's a handing over period. The experienced players leaving the first team squad, but they've been involved with the youngsters at the same time. You don't finish the older ones and bring in the new. We try to integrate them. Hello. I'll be in most of the day, I think. Yeah. Tell them to ring me, or tell them to come down in about an hour.
England's chief scout is Ted Buxton, scout at Spurs when Venables was manager. Terry often chooses to work with people he's tried and tested.
Funny enough, Jamie himself said in an article this week, which I read, that he feels his game is improving, but he has to score more goals.
With every report you've had this last couple of months on him, he's been playing tremendous.
That's right.
I mean, his all-round game has improved, except what you're saying. In Toulon last year, with the under-21s, he made some tremendous runs, and his finish wasn't that clinical.
The hunt is on for future Alan Shearers.
We've got a file of players here from every league club in the country, what their status are, whether they're Irish, English, Scotch or whatever. So we don't let any through the net. We, even their grandmothers, we know that Jack Charlton starts nicking them if the milkman was Irish and, probably had an affair with their grandmother, so he qualifies for Ireland or whatever. And over here is all the European games that we've watched since me and Terry took over. And he insists on that, Terry, that he needs all this. And it's every team that we've seen, and we've still got a lot to see more. When we leave, if we do, everything's there for the next person who takes over.
There are times when England have looked far from invincible.
The odds are against you to be successful in this job. Graham Taylor said that, Bobby Robson said that, but you always feel, well, we might be able to do it. We've got to get the best out of ourselves. We've got to get the best unit. I want people that's going to be committed and want to be in the England squad. Not just the team, but the squad. They want to be in there.
He'll bring out the best. I've no doubts in my mind he'll get the best out of what he's got. It's just a question of whether what he's got's enough.
At the end of the day, with Terry standing here with a Nations Cup next year, that was his answer. You can just say, 2 years old, he's got it then.
You can't be wrong, don't worry. Get in there then. Right round it, that's the pass it in. Great ball. Oh, head over it, Stan, you're leaning back.
Tremendous break by Venables now. Here we go, it is!
Goalkeeper John, off the goalie. There you are. Does it. Come on, tighten right up on this.
And now, Venables away.
Good lad, good lad. Now we're getting movement. That's a lot better now. Well done, well done, well done. Good. Well, finish, finish! Yes!
What would you be doing if you weren't going to be playing football for all your life?
Oh, I have no idea. It's all I can do.